What's up, guys? It's JZNES. We're back again. Today, I want to just get into something kind of serious. No, but really, serious for me, because at heart, I'm a video gamer, if you couldn't tell. I'm fucking wearing a Hat in Time shirt, all this shit behind me, my fucking boxed Earthbound, and Ocarina of Time there, and my Diddy Kong Racing, and I think that's Mega Man 64. Oh, that's actually Diddy's Conquest over there. I don't know why that's in the case, actually. I haven't even played or beaten that game. I played that game a little bit, but point being... Oh yeah, by the way, we're talking about Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. But we'll talk about that in a second there. What I want to talk about first is... I'm just going to come out and say it. I didn't beat this game, alright? Now... maybe that doesn't sound like that much of a problem. Like, you'd be like, oh, whatever, just beat whatever games you want or whatever. But that's not like me. For me, I beat all of the games that I play, you know? That's just how I am. That's something I've always done. I'm here to complete the games and get the full experience out of the games. And in a sense, I feel like with this game, I've already done that. Now... you're probably thinking like, hey, dumbass, I've played this game. It's not even that hard. And then I'm like, then you're like, yeah, whatever. You're like, it's not that hard or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that hard. And I did beat most of the game. Now, to say I got to the final castle there, and that's where the shit really hit the fan. Because the final castle in this game is infuriating. And there's a million ways to die. There are no checkpoints, as far as I saw. I only got like halfway, probably like 60% of the way through the castle, and that was my roadblock. I could sit there and grind that out if I really wanted to, and then I would get to the end. But there's a whole part even past that, with no checkpoints, by the way, where there's these like 5 different blob enemies. There's one in the first room, then there's 2 in the next room, and then there's another 2 in the next room, which are just like there to suck you of your power-ups and stuff, which I've already lost by that point, guaranteed. So I could sit there and perfect that all day long. But I don't need to do that. I don't feel the need to do that. I've seen what is to come after that on video, because I had to see how much longer the thing went on without checkpoints, and it turns out it's the whole way. So I would have also have the final boss, Wario, without checkpoints, and he's got 3 forms. I just looked at that and I said, you know what, I could spend, you know, another 5, 6, 7, 10 hours, I don't know how long, doing that. Or I could say enough is enough and I'm okay, you know? I'm good. I'm just getting the experience I have. And I saw the rest. It's nothing mind-blowing that I needed to sit there and play to experience. I understand what happens post where I am in the game. And so I feel like my journey with Super Mario Land 2 is complete, you know? 6 golden coins, by the way. That's the subtitle there. And I think it's a great game. And that's not even the part of it. And I want it to stay that way in my head, that it is a great game. Now, you might say, well, then you're not really giving it a full review, going into its flaws, you know, in this case would be the final castle. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm talking about the final castle and how bullshit it is, and how everything kills you, and there's bottomless pits everywhere, and everything is designed to kill you, so you have to sit there and master the final castle, or whatever. And I like that. I like that it's challenging, but also, at the end of the day, I have to take a step back, and really think, is this worth my time? Because life is valuable. You know, there's that old JonTron joke, you know, it's a lot to see in this life. Not wasting it here. That's how I feel about this, is I could waste that 5 or 6 hours, or you know what I could do with that 5 or 6 hours? I could beat Kirby's Adventure, and then have another game to review later, you know? Not that I'm gonna do this for every game, but I'm just saying, maybe sometimes I'll feel like I don't need to beat the game to have experienced the full game. I don't really feel like that in general, but what I'm saying is, this is kind of a revelatory moment for me, like, hey, maybe I don't have to beat every game, you know? The whole point is to get it off the backlog, right? Well, the backlog is just a concept that I came up with, and then everyone else came up with, and and it only bothers me if it bothers me. Not beating Super Mario 6 golden coins, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins to completion by doing this castle does not bother me, because it's just a bunch of more bullshit that I don't need. I don't need to do that. That's fine. You know, I'm okay. I'm alright. I've accepted that I don't want to do that. So, why should I do it? Who am I impressing, you know? What, my YouTube audience? Like, nah, that's not... I live my life for me, not for you, but this is mostly for me too, but it is for you guys as well. Not saying that the audience isn't important, because you guys are important, and I'm very thankful and proud for my audience, but at the end of the day, this is a passion of mine. This is what I do for myself. I like to have these reviews to look back on and to remember what I was experiencing in that moment. And for this game, I think it's an important kind of milestone in a life thing that I don't need to complete every game, you know? I don't need to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's just adding extra pressure onto myself. Now, it's impressive when I do beat almost every game, and I get to put a 99% clause here or whatever, you know? Like, that's fine. You get a 99%, that's still an A+, you know? I'd be fucking lucky to have gotten that back in school. I was more of a C, B, D student back in school, just barely scraping by. You know, I didn't really like school that much, but that's here nor there. It's not really relevant to the thing. Part of that is our education system. That's a whole another can of worms for a different day. We're not talking about that in the Super Mario 2 Land 2 review. What we're talking about is the fact that I have beaten hard games in the past. I've beaten over 100 NES games, something like 150 NES games. And so I know the definition of a hard game. I know what it's like to beat a hard game, and you sit there and you grind it. I know the accomplishment of beating hard games, like Back to the Future on the NES, like Journey to Silius. That stuff feels satisfying. And even some of those games had a lot of bullshit. Obviously, Back to the Future, the whole game is kind of bullshit, but it's an alright game once you get down to it. But point is, I've beaten a lot of really bad and good games that are difficult. This is a really good game that has a difficult ending that it kind of pulls out of nowhere, because the rest of the game is pretty manageable with some difficult sections, but for the most part, it's rooted in fairness, and they give you lots of checkpoints, and the live system is so-so, but like it works for what it is. And once you kind of figure out what the exploit is there, it's not exploit, but the way they've designed the live system and why it's like it is, you kind of understand it, and you know the way to mitigate it, which is through grinding. Now, that's the other issue. Let's get into it then. The live system in this game, here's how it works. You get 5 lives, then you can get extra lives, not by collecting 100 coins. Not anymore, no. If you collect 100 coins, it does nothing. What it does is, that's currency. You can use that on this slot machine mini game, where it'll, you know, randomly, I guess, I don't know, maybe you can control that or whatnot. I never really figured it out that much. I just kind of randomly did it. To where you have the chance to win more lives or power-ups. There's like 4 of them. So there's like a 30 coin one, there's a 50 coin one, there's a 200 coin one, and a 999 coin one. Which, the 999 coin one, I looked it up, and it gives you the option, the very slim hope that you'll get 99 lives, or 1 life, or 5 lives, or 20 lives. And maybe 50 lives. I don't remember if that was an option or not. And there's spaces where you get coins. So, fuck that. If you're not guaranteed to get that, why would you grind to get all of that coin? But yeah, so kind of the best option there, I feel like, is the 200 one, because it gives you a chance at 20 lives, but most of the rest of them are lives, not power-ups. Like, and the power-ups, let's say you have a mushroom, right? So you're powered up mushroom, you're mid-tier power-up there. If you get, well, if you have, let's say you have the flying cap or whatever. There's a flying cap in this game. So if you have the flying cap, or the rabbit ears, or whatever the fuck they are, that lets you, like, kind of glide or whatever. If you have that and you get the mushroom power-up, you power down, from the slot machine, that is. So it's a bunch of bullshit. So anyway, but you want lives, right? So the 201 guarantees you're either going to get lives, or you're going to get screwed by the, like, 2 random witch spots. So, you know. And there was a time when I got 20 lives. That was one time, and I got very close a few other times to getting 20 lives. But it's like gambling, you know. They always let you get close a few times, so you're like, oh, I can get it next time, you know, or whatever. That's how they keep you in. And, so the live system in this game is very important. This is why I'm explaining all of this. And the way I gained extra lives, and it finally kind of... Well, no, I'll talk about that in a second. It's important because every one of those 6 golden coins is progress towards the final dungeon. There's the final castle or whatever, the final level, essentially. And every time you go to a game over, after you lose your initial 5 lives, let's say, that's it. And what they take away from you is those 6 golden coins. So any boss levels that you've completed, you now have to complete all over again. Also, that's another reason why, I think I kind of gave up. Not gave up. Why I'm counting this as completed. Because I was in that final castle, and I kind of wasn't paying attention to my lives, so I got myself down to my last life. I said, okay, not going back into the castle. Walk away. I went over to where I grinded lives in stage 1 of Tree Zone there. Because there's a lot of coins on that stage. You can get about 80 coins if you're doing good. And then another kind of cool thing about this game is there's an enemy counter. And so every time you hit 100 of that, it'll give you a star that'll come down. And once you kill 5 enemies with a star, that's a 1-up. And then every consecutive enemy after that, because the star only has such a limited range. And you can stack stars too. So if you get a star from that, and then you're near a star, or you're near a star, and then you get a star from killing the enemies or whatever, that'll continue on your chain of stars, which is cool. Meaning you could get a lot of 1-ups. And in that stage particularly, there's a spot where there's a star, and I can get particularly at least two 1-ups, and then there's a 1-up at the end of the level that's hidden. So that's at least 3 1-ups, and then going through to get the 80 coins every time, you're gonna get, like, you know, a chance at getting more 1-ups. So it's very they give you a lot of chances to get 1-ups in this game. But the punishment of taking away all of the final levels of each area and making you have to do them again is a little steep, you know? So I get that there should have probably been a consequence to game over, but I don't know if that should be it. Now, to be fair, it doesn't make you do all the levels leading up to those final levels, so really all you have to do is beat those final levels again, but there's 6 of them. That means you have to fight the final, the boss of each area again, just to have another chance at the castle. I don't think that's really that fair for them to do that, you know? I don't like that as a mechanic in games. That's why Wario Land on the Virtual Boy is kind of one of those games I never really got around to beating, was because they do that. So every time you game over, it's a very similar thing where they come and take away your things towards getting the good ending or whatever. And I'm just like, well, if I'm not gonna get the good ending, I don't want to play the game, you know? So don't take away all my stuff at the end. There doesn't need to be a really destructive punishment for getting a game over, and especially in an easy-ass Mario game. Not like a super easy Mario game, but like a reasonably easy Mario game that has a fair enough challenge. You don't have to fucking, you know, give me a punishment just because I got a game over. There doesn't need to be a punishment for that. Realistically, there shouldn't even be lives to begin with, but this is before that concept kind of faded out or whatnot. And so I get they were kind of trying to do this arbitrary live system, and live systems are just kind of arbitrary in general. And they don't really add challenge, and especially in this case, when I'm just going to grind more lives, by doing the same level again and again and again. It reminds me of Rayman, another game that really didn't need a live system. It makes the game more challenging, but only through the fact that I have to start over and do certain things over, and that's my punishment for getting a game over. There shouldn't really be a punishment for getting a game over other than having to do the level that you were just doing over. Like, unless you're like fucking Dark Souls or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's, and I know, I get that there's challenge to that in a sense, and some people like that. But I think it should be an option rather than a like a thing that the game is fully put in. And maybe that's just like these modern games spoiling me or something. But I don't think so. I think that's just convenient, you know? You don't want to fucking turn your player base away by having a live system and just making them have to play the game over and over and over and over again until they're like just super good. I mean, I get there's an appeal to that. But I don't know. I think that kind of system is antiquated, and I know this was still an era of doing that, but I just think that they could have handled that better. And this isn't even like the worst game or worst offender of that kind of thing. I'm just saying that's kind of my little rant there on live systems in general. I mean, I don't know that they still hold up as a concept, you know, is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, it was a different time, so I get that, and I understand that. You know, I'm the guy, I know, I'm not gonna, you know, really rag on the game for that, because I understand that that was how games were then, you know, I have that context, and I'm okay with that. I'm just saying, it's just a thing that I'm saying, you know. It's just my opinion that live systems don't always work, and especially when they punish you like that. Lives are fine, you know, but if they punish you like that, like, fuck that, you know, that's not good. I don't like that. So, anyway, point being that all of that contributed to me not wanting to beat the final castle. I actually lost my life there on that grinding stage, by the way, and so I would have had to have done all of the bosses again. It's like, I could have done that. It's not a big deal. I can go and do that, but I would have grinded a bunch of lives just to do that, and it's just like, it's just going to be super tedious anyway. And I'm like, I'm good, you know? I don't need to say that I beat this game. I can say, yeah, I pretty much beat the game, you know? I understand. I've seen the ending. There was only a little bit more to the game anyway. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's not a Jak 2 where I kind of regret not beating it, you know? So now, oh, it's going to haunt me down the line. Like, oh shit, I should have beat Super Mario Golden Coins. Oh no. And if I really want to do it someday, I'll fucking do it someday. It's not a big deal, you know? Like, whatever. It's a short game. You know, it'd probably take me 10 hours to go through the whole thing or something. Really grind out that final castle if I'm really interested in doing that. Which I'm not. Not at the moment. But I don't think that should impede me from doing a review and talking about that kind of thing anyway. And I think it's important that I do that, especially for myself, so I know that in the future. So I can always go back to this video and be like, yeah, you know what, maybe you don't have to beat every game, you know? And that's okay, you can do that. That's fine. You got more of a life to live than this, you know? There's more to the world than video games. Now, you know, I'm not saying video games are bad or anything, I'm just saying, you know, it's whatever. It's like, you can't beat every game. You're never going to beat every game. And, you know, you get whatever you get out of that game. And then that's fine. A lot of people aren't even as, like, compulsive about it as I am. Where most people just play games and they're like, okay, I played that game for a little bit. Cool, I don't have to beat it. But I'm not like that. I have to beat games. You know, it's just how it is. But I feel like I can give myself a break every now and again, you know? Especially when I've seen the tedium that it's going to take to complete a game like this. And it's just like, I don't feel like it. It's fine, you know? It's okay. It's alright. It's okay. No need. So, that being said, let's talk about the game, I guess. There's not a whole lot to say about the game. I think it's a good game. I think it's a good platformer. I like that it's a really good follow-up to Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, which is a game I actually really liked as well. It felt like a little bit basic of a Mario thing, but it was a very different experience from most Mario games. Now this game is more just like a Mario game. It feels like a lot more like maybe a portable version of Super Mario World or something crossed with like the NES games. Maybe like a Mario 3-esque sort of thing. I like that the design of the world is that to which it's non-linear. You can go to any area. I like that. I like non-linear games, obviously, but I think there's a difference between non-linear and open world. Open world is like, it calls to mind games like Skyrim, where there's just way too much to do. Now, Skyrim did the open world good. And I've ranted about open world before, but I'm just saying, like, when it's condensed and it's put into an old game like this, where it's a short open world, but you still have options, and it's dense with content, I think that's cool. I think that's a good way to do it. I don't think open worlds should be meant to sustain thousands of hours of gameplay or whatever. I just think that's... Unless that gameplay is really actually good, like genuinely good. And I can't even imagine a game that would be good for thousands of hours or hundreds of hours or whatever, 100 hours is pushing it, Even then, most games aren't good anymore. It takes like a true masterpiece like Dragon Quest VIII or something to really even be okay with like cracking the 100-hour mark or whatever. Point being that this game, you can go and do any of the worlds in any order. So for instance, I did the water world first, and then the whale, you go inside him and there's like a octopus as the final boss or whatever. And then I think I did the Mario, like the robot Mario one, like where you go inside of him, and did that. And then I did like the Halloween one. So I kind of went circular that way. And then I think then I did the tree one, and then then there's Spaceland, which I did last, and then I did the macro one before that. So yeah, but it's cool. You can just kind of do them in whatever order you want, and I think that's cool. And there's even hidden extra branching paths on each level. Not all of the levels, but most levels have, or some levels have like a branching path kind of thing, and some levels have hidden exits and whatnot that you have to meet certain conditions to get to and whatnot. And I guess there's like Star Road levels and stuff too that I never really experienced because I never found any of those hidden exits, but I did find like hidden exits. You have to find the one hidden exit in the Hippo Zone, not Hippo Zone, but Hippo level to get to the Spaceland. So there's that. So to beat the game, you actually have to do that at least. But yeah, so and then there's sometimes like the one I can think of is in the Tree Land, where there's like one branching level, and I never did that other branching level, but you have a choice between the two levels, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, and I like the levels. I like that they're themed to their worlds. I think that's cool. The aesthetic of the game is odd. It's good. I like it, but it's really different. They're trying to emulate the Super Mario style in a Game Boy capacity. Now, one of the walkthroughs I watched had a mod where they put like graphics from Super Mario World in there instead, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I think there's a certain charm to the original too. I just kind of wish that the Game Boy player would have added more color to it. It added enough color, but it still felt pretty black and white in a sense. So that's maybe my only complaint, is that more color would have been nice. But it is a Game Boy game, so I mean, I can't have expected. But also, if I had played it on the Game Boy Super Game Boy, that is, I would have been able to switch that around. Oh, here it is, the Super Game Boy, yeah. I would have been able to switch that around more towards my liking of a color palette or whatnot. Maybe it wouldn't have done much, but I'm just saying. Would have been nice. That's like a minor complaint, though. I think that the music is really good as well. It's very, very good. It's a Mario game. Most Mario games have really good music. I noticed that the Star power up, and maybe I'm just stupid and don't remember this, but the star power up is the same sound as in Super Mario RPG, and maybe that's just the star power up sound other times. But I thought oh yeah, and that sounds like Link's Awakening right there, so I noticed that. Cause isn't the star power up like dun 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 dun. That's like the regular star power up, right? This one's different. It's like it's a different thing, but they reuse that in Super Mario RPG, so I just thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, so yeah, the music's pretty good. I like that Wario's the antagonist. I think this is like his first appearing role in this game. I like Wario. I'm a big fan of Wario, in the sense that I play as him in Mario Party all the time. Mario Party 2, that is. So he's like kind of my character of choice there. I haven't really played any of his games or like any of the WarioWare, any of that kind of stuff, but I do like him in Mario Party 2 there. He's kind of my character of choice. So I kind of have, I like Wario. I mean, I like Wario Land, the Virtual Boy game, obviously. Aside from that thing I mentioned earlier, which is really the main sticking point to why I haven't beat the game yet or whatever. But it's a really competent platformer for the Virtual Boy. I think it might be a little overblown in the sense that, like, everyone hails it as the best Virtual Boy game. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess so. It's probably like the most complete Virtual Boy game, you know? It's like it's the most meaty experience for a Virtual Boy game. All the other ones feel either like gimmicks or sort of like they're complete games, but they're just like Wario Land feels like a full, really rich game, you know? Some of the other ones are just less so in that regard, but there's still a ton of great games on Virtual Boy. But anyway, that has nothing to do with Super Mario Land 2. Actually, I could have played this game on my Virtual Boy if I wanted to, because I got a Flash Boy for that, so I'll let you play Game Boy games and stuff. They created an emulator for that. But anyway, yeah. So but I really like the game. I like the gameplay. I think the controls feel very responsive, and for the most part, the jumping and all of that is really good. For the most part, I say, because they really test the patience of that in the final level with tiny platforms and platforms that like go away and platforms that go under things, and the Wario fists that come down and you're like guaranteed to at least get hit once on one of them. I hate those. Hate the first part of that level isn't even that bad. I got through that. I can do that in my sleep now. But the second part of that level is just fucking hell. It's torture, man. The second floor of that area I fucking hate. So, I don't know. Should have some fucking checkpoints. What the fuck? Give me some checkpoints, god damn it. You gotta make your level that long. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's a portable game. Most of your levels weren't even that long, and you gave them checkpoints, and you don't give your final dungeon checkpoints? What the fuck? Hi. What do you want? He's doing that. Yeah, like, seriously, calm the fuck on. Really? We don't get any checkpoints? Like, fuck that, you know? Bullshit. And now you see why I didn't want to finish the game. Anyway, I like the gameplay. I like it for the most part. I like the power-ups. I like the rabbit hat or whatever that lets you like kind of glide. I think that's pretty cool. It's a very impressive game for Game Boy Color. I mean, sorry, Game Boy. I always say Game Boy Color. For the original Game Boy there. And it would have fit well on the NES. But I think it's almost more impressive than some NES games. And I really like it. I think it's one of the better, more classic Mario games. Actually, I remember, I was going to say this earlier, but I kind of got sidetracked with my whole rant there. I remember that my friend's sister had this game back in the day on like a big brick Game Boy. And I found it once, and I started playing it, and I was like, going on to my friends about, oh wow, look at this, isn't this cool? And they're like, whatever, man, like, we want to play Xbox and like skating games or whatever. And I'm just like, but this is Mario, this is classic, this is like fucking awesome. And they're like, yeah, whatever, man, like, they didn't give a shit. But I'm like, dude, look at this, it's cool! It's the 6 golden coins, bitch! But, so yeah, that was my first experience playing the game, was back then, and I always thought it was pretty cool, even back then. So I really like the game, and I don't want that to be ruined by me sitting there grinding away at that castle for how many hours. I'd rather remember all the good times I had with the game, and just know that that ending is there if and when I ever want to actually go and do that myself, if I ever get that bored someday, to go and do that. But there's plenty of other games to do in the meantime, and I think those are more important than killing myself over this ending for another who knows how many hours. This isn't necessarily one of those games that I gotta be like, oh yeah, I beat that so I can show it off to everyone. Not that that's why I beat a lot of games, but I guess the bragging rights was a reason to beat, like, Back to the Future on NES or something, just so I could say, like, I beat that game, or Journey to Silius or something, like, I don't know. So, yeah, it's okay. It's alright that I didn't beat it. I like the game. I think there's a lot of unique and cool things about it. I mean, even though coins should give you lives, and then you should be able to spend them for lives, I think it's interesting that they did it the way that they did it, to where it was kind of up to chance. It's actually not great that they did it like that, now that I'm saying it. Up to chance sounds really bad. But also they did give you the thing with the enemies. But killing 100 enemies still takes a while, so I don't know. It kind of balances out. I'm not sure. There's little things like that that kind of detract from the experience, but that's not so bad. I can deal with all of that. It's a pretty unique Mario game, and I definitely enjoy it. And it's a pretty solid portable Mario game experience as well. It's short, and each world only has like 2 or 3 stages. Like anywhere from like 3 to 5 stages, I would say, is how many each world has. Plus that bonus stage, which I never did. So there's even hidden content there, which is pretty cool. It's a great game, and I definitely see why a lot of people are holding it up as like an underrated Mario game. I get that, and I get the hype now. I get why it's cool. Personally, I enjoy Mario Land as well, the original, but I think I like this game better than that game. It's a lot of fun, and I really like it, and I'm gonna count it as a gem off the backlog there. So yeah, so I'm gonna give it an 8.6 out of 10, and we're gonna call it a day on Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins there. Yeah, and so the quest continues to beat more games and do other games, and just enjoy and experience other games, which is really what's more important than beating games, is experiencing games. And typically to experience the full breadth of a game, you have to beat the game, but certain times you don't really have to. So it's good enough to just see the rest of it, and that all depends on how you feel about that, You can beat that game if you want to beat it. If you don't want to beat it, don't beat the game, That's how it is. It's nice and simple like that. Life's really easy. You do the thing, you do it right, or if you don't want to do the thing, don't do that thing. Find a different thing to do, And then it just works. It just works. So, until next time, this has been JZNES saying keep it classic, stick around for more reviews, underrated games, and I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ